I'm Hans and this is my channel. Thank you guys for watching. Today we're going to be talking about what everybody else has been talking about, which is the ZV1 from Sony. I've heard so much about it. I went out and I got one and I tried it out, and I think I have the same complaints that everybody else does. I've been doing all my vlogging with my GoPro. So I did a little side-by-side comparison between these two cameras, and you're going to be really surprised what you find out right now.
Let's go!
I want to make this video about the ZV1. I really want to focus on this camera, but I do want to show this comparison. It's a little bit long, but I really want you to get an idea what the difference is between the audio and the video, and really be able to see the difference side by side. So I went around, I kind of walked around my property. It's the worst light out when I was doing this. It was just super harsh, and it was like right as the sun is like coming down, probably 2 hours before sunset. So it's just like hitting my face, and pretty harsh conditions. And then I found some shade and I kind of did some testing with the sound and wind and things like that, because it was a little bit windy. So you guys can take a look at that. You can see here that I've got my GoPro on the selfie stick. I've got my super hyper smooth on this, and then I've got super hyper smooth on this with image face correction so that I look beautiful, so all of my blemishes won't show up. And we are in like the harshest light right now. This is the harshest light. So I've got this stick here and my little vlogging kit, and I'm not using the microphone because I really want to see. I just walked to the noisiest place in my yard. I've got an air conditioner going back there. I've got an air conditioner going back there. It's too noisy. And it's windy out too. So you guys are probably going to pick up a little bit of wind noise. This light is not as bright, so we can get a better idea. My problem with this camera is the same thing that everybody else is saying, that the lens is not wide enough. This lens is about a 23. This lens is about a 32. I have a selfie stick on this one. I'm going to put it on this one too and kind of compare the difference with it on there. But the biggest issue is that audio is obviously way better in the ZV than it is in the GoPro. I think, is the audio better on the GoPro, or is the audio better on the ZV1? I don't know. You guys, I'll have to listen to it. Let's just do a little comparison. I think the Hero 8 is really good, I gotta say. I'm not sure if I really think that this is the greatest camera on the market. You guys out there are all talking this thing up. It's just crazy. Like, everybody's talking it up. And maybe it's because I'm short and I have short arms. I'm not sure, but I can't seem to get, with this crop on and the image stabilization, I can't get it far enough out. So this is probably pretty comfortable for me, but nobody wants to look at my face that close. I don't want to look at my face that close. On this one, I've got my selfie stick, which does get me far enough away. This looks way better to me. I can deal with this, but I have to carry a selfie stick. So with this one, I'm just an arm's length away, and I'm not sure how wide this is because I don't have a screen. And this is the other big thing about the ZV, is you've got the screen. I've been doing this long enough that I kind of trust where I'm pointing it. I can look right in the lens of that, and I know I'm looking right in the lens of it. Just like I know I'm looking right at you guys right now. If I was looking over here at the screen, which can be distracting, I do agree that if I was sitting here talking to you like this, you guys would be like, what's he looking at? What's over there? It's my screen. I'm looking at myself. It's getting windier in here. Let's check the audio on the GoPro. It is getting windier in here. So we are shooting, I'm gonna switch sides so we get a fair comparison. It is getting windy in here, so now I'm looking at this. We're looking at this one. The light seems pretty even as we scroll around here. I am in the shade. There are really harsh lights because it's really bright out still. It is evening, but it still is very bright. The sun is going down. It is evening and it is still very bright, and you can see as we're moving around, this is just my arm's length out. I do have super smooth on this turned on. I do have the smooth turned on this one, and this one has the face detection. So now they're side by side. I've got the GoPro right next to the Z bed. So this is going to be side by side, and I'm curious to see what this is going to look like, because I really don't know what I'm going to like. So far I've been shooting with a GoPro, but I've been shooting with a GoPro on not the narrow, and so I haven't really had a good comparison. This is the narrow 7. I think they said it's about the equivalent of 32 with the crop, because it's cropped in right now. And if I hit this thing way out like this, right, that looks pretty good. I can deal with that. So having this selfie stick here, having that kind of helping me get it further out, that's a good way to do it. But I think I need it for either one of these rigs. And I think we're gonna find out really quick here which audio sounds better if there's a difference. So I found that to be really interesting, because that was super unexpected. I really expected the audio to be so much better on the ZV1 than it was the Z bed, as I call it, the Z bed one, versus the GoPro Hero 8. I feel like the GoPro Hero 8, just no microphone at all, just whatever's built into this camera, sounded better. I did notice what people were talking about though. I do get it now, and I didn't really notice it before. The Z bed seemed a little bit soft, but it was because I was turning and I was looking at the other camera, and then when I would come back to it, it would take a second to recognize my face and say, oh, here's what I need to be focused on, and you could see it kind of fix itself very quickly. I also had this windsock on the Sony, so it was easily like disadvantage here on the GoPro. You could hear the wind in this one, but I know that you can get those little windsocks and put them on the microphone holes on this, and that does help quite a bit. But I did notice the aliasing with the GoPro, which I didn't really notice at all before. When I've been using it to do vlogs, and I've been doing stuff for, you know, whatever, 50 videos now, and I always thought it looked really good. This is the first time I've shot with this camera on the narrow mode, because I was trying to get rid of that kind of stretchy edge. And I did notice even on this one, within the narrow mode, it still kind of had a little bit of stretch on the edge. I was shooting 2.7K, and I was shooting in the narrow mode. I had the wind set to on. This one I had set to 4K, 30 frames a second, and this one I just had the default as far as whatever the wind was set up to be. It did have the face detection and the, whatever you call it, the beauty cam. It made me beautiful. It kind of has some cool features for sure. Now, if I go out and I need to go take some pictures or zoom in on something or get some video with this while I'm out on a location, it is really good. But so is this. The stabilization that's built into this camera is insanely good. I don't even think it's as good as this. I will do a side-by-side test. Let's go out and check it and see right now. All right, so we've got the Sony right here, and we've got the GoPro right here. I have the best smooth on both of these. I have these both handheld in my hand, and I'm just gonna walk around the car here. So I have a really heavy foot, so I don't do a really good job of keeping my feet really smooth, but I'm doing my best here. Try to get a better hold on this one. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Let's try really quick. We're gonna see if we can get just a really interesting shot here, make it kind of like a little dolly shot. We'll do side by side so we can do a comparison on these. So you could also see on this shot right here how much wider the GoPro is. So that kind of goes to prove too, when you're vlogging, do you want that extra width? And you can see also, it's very clear in this light, that the GoPro absolutely crushes all the blacks. So the GoPro color format, I'm not really sold on. but I am sold on this. And this could be just because I'm so wide, but I don't know. Chasing the chicken. Chasing the chicken. Oh yeah. Chasing the chicken. Oh God. They're coming after me. No. No. No chickens. Don't come after me. Oh my gosh. They're coming at me. Okay, that was ridiculous. But what did we learn? Don't chase the chickens. They'll come and get you. Chickens are dangerous, you guys. What did we learn about the stabilization? What did we learn about this camera versus this camera? I'm gonna let you guys decide. I showed you guys what I got. The one thing that I did say about the colors in this is, yeah, it does really crush the blacks, and it makes, you can see like the difference in the sunset, even in the background between this camera and this camera. It looked way better in this one. But you can change the color profile in this as well. So if you wanted to make this a flatter image or make it so it doesn't crush those blacks like that, you can change that. And I didn't do that in this camera. I kind of just left both of them at default, with the exception of changing this one to a narrow field of view. So that was the narrow, and that was all that stabilization. I went like this. Here's the car. This is the Sony from the car. Here's the GoPro, and I went like this. And you can see the lens flare moving up and down, but the car stayed right in the center of the frame. Which stabilization is better? And then what are you using it for? So what do you need it for? Do you need that stabilization? On that narrow shot that I just did, I really didn't notice the edges like I did before. And I was closer up, I definitely noticed a little bit of the edge stretch, but when I was shooting that, I didn't really notice it. It just depends, I guess, on what you're doing. These cameras are definitely not going to be as durable as these cameras. These can get wet, go underwater. These cannot, definitely, even if it's raining. You've got this microphone port right on the very top here, and it's a great spot for it, and the microphone works pretty good. But if you get water in there, this thing could be toast. My opinion is that the audio sounds better on this than it did on this. This seems really tinny and kind of a lot of highs, and this seemed more natural and kind of gave a little bit more depth. But that's my 2 cents, you guys. I'm not an expert by any means. I've only been doing this for like 30 years, so no idea what I'm talking about. Still, to this day, every camera is different and everything is always changing. I do have a big surprise coming for you guys, and I think it'll be about 2 weeks from now. I'm gonna be getting a camera that is insane. You guys are gonna freak out when you see it. So if you wanna see that video, subscribe to this, hit the bell button, you'll get a notification, and it's not gonna be my next video, but in a couple weeks, I'm gonna be getting this camera. I'm gonna go shoot some stuff with it, try to get some good information for you guys. I wanna use it first, kind of like I did with this one. I did use this. I used this one more for sure because I've been using it. It's super easy to use. I've got this cool little case right here so I can put my gigantic, ridiculous microphone mount that GoPro has created. It does fit in here and it all is self-contained. I could put a microphone right up on top here, and this thing is super stoked. It's got a little opening here on the side so that you can get into the microphone port, and it's got a 1/4-20 on the bottom so you can mount this to almost anything. So this little setup that I have here works great. Some of the videos that you guys are doing about this camera and coming up with solutions to get the lens to be wider is, I mean, it's a great idea. But when you get into that and you're worried about size, then all of a sudden you've got this lens that sticks out this far. If it's a form function thing and you're wanting to travel with it and you've got a big wide angle lens on there, you might as well just go get the A7 III or whatever and put a nice pancake lens on there. They have a really good 16mm pancake that you could just be sitting there like this, where you're not stretching your arm out and everybody's like, oh man, why is he standing so funny? And you'll get your full frame, you'll be able to see everything around you. I love that lens. But this camera is good. They just didn't quite nail it, I don't think. I think that the next gen, they'll probably figure it out because everybody's complaining about that. The thing I'm really surprised about is how everybody, all these big YouTubers, I'm just a small fry, so it doesn't really matter what I say, but these guys are talking about how great the audio is. And I really don't feel like this has got a great microphone. It might be directional, and maybe it does a good job at capturing directional audio and blocking out the noise over here. As far as it picking up audio from somebody talking, I don't think it sounds that great. And I think a lot of these guys are having to go into their audio file and tweak it to make it sound as good as they are. This is my 2 cents, you guys. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you liked this video, and I hope it was sort of helpful. I didn't mean for this to be so long, but I really wanted to cover the bases so you could really see stabilization, the audio, the lens, and all that fun stuff, the things that people are talking about in real life and how it would affect you if you were shooting with this camera, or if you were shooting with this camera. I think there's positives to both of these and negatives to both of them for sure. So you just kind of have to weigh it and figure out what you're doing and what's your strategy and what's the end result that you're looking for. If you need a really nice 4K image of your face when you're talking and it's got to be handheld, this might be the answer for you. This might be the answer for you too, depending on if you're jumping out of an airplane or not. Anyways, thanks you guys for watching, and you will see me in the next video.